From the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s and even the early 2010s, white people have always found their own place in hip-hop. Throughout the 2010s, there were many notable pop stars who were enamored by the hip-hop lifestyle and decided to try their own hand at the craft. But that's just how it all started. Juxtaposition is the act of placing two things close together to highlight their differences. It's often used to draw attention to how two things are different or surprising when seen side by side. There's a new era of street rap, and it's got white people written all over it. In recent months, we are seeing time after time after time after time again, white street rappers going viral, and everybody's wondering, where are they coming from? What is happening? I feel like when white rappers come out sounding like they're black, it stands out because people don't expect it. The juxtaposition of their race with a style that's usually seen as a part of black culture makes it feel new and different. The time of the YCs, the young crackers, is finally here. Now, of course, these weren't our first YCs. Of course, we had Max the Demon and Slim Jesus himself, which later came Lil Mabu, of course. But there's an artist being compared to Future who absolutely blew up in 2024. I'm talking about none other than Ian. Now, I don't know if you guys know who Ian is, but he's had some pretty big cosigns as of late. I'm talking about Lil Yachty and a few others. Now, Ian has had a lot of praise, but he's also seen a lot of critique. Now, there's one artist I'm talking about in particular, Tyler the Creator. He had something to say about a white artist who he compared to Future. Now, no one knows who he was speaking about for sure, but fans speculate he was talking about Ian.
It's some kid right now, it's a white kid, regular like Caucasian man, and he's like mocking Future and Gucci Mane like rap music. And like people are like, this shit hard. It's not even like satire. It's like, I'm just joking, I'm just mocking it. But I'm like, no, you can't do. And I hold rap music so close to my heart because this shit changed my life and everyone's life around me. And I'm a nerd about this shit. This is like weird. And I'm looking at it and something about it like, don't even sit well with me in comparison to someone like a Mac Miller or Eminem, who it didn't seem like they was mocking it. They had a genuine love for it, and they were still just being. For sure. Aside from when Eminem was wearing do-rags in like 2006.
So as you guys can see, there are people who hold a critique about this subject. I just think it's interesting. I don't want to dive too much into the negativity. I honestly think it's pretty fun. I think it's cool seeing different perspectives in the rap game, but I don't think it's just me. I was watching this episode of Flagrant with Russ. I think it was like a year ago. They asked Russ a question. It was like, what do you think it will take for the up-and-comers to be the next Future star? And Russ had said something that really caught my ear. Listen to this.
I think at its core, I think hip hop is black culture, right? And I think you've heard from a lot of different perspectives within the black culture. You've heard from the CEO, right? Jay-Z, which also drug dealer. You've heard from the artsy dude, Kanye. You've heard from a stripper. You've heard from it's like, what's the next extreme thing that you haven't heard from yet? What's the next extreme perspective you haven't heard from yet? Get that.
Now, guys, really think about it. Think about all of the black people you heard doing country music in 2024. It's like we've already heard the white people talk about country music and talk about living the country life for years. Now people are thinking, oh, let's hear the black person's perspective on it. Oh, we've heard black people talk about the plight in the streets for years. Let's hear about the white people talk about it. It's like everyone's looking for the next perspective.
And I just think like it's the natural progression of things. It's like, look at like the progression of the game, right? It's like, okay, but where do you go after Sexy Red? You've heard from the CEO, you've heard from the drug dealer, you've heard from the stripper, you've heard from the this. At some point, you'll hear from the crackhead. You'll hear from the this. You'll hear.
Oh, shit. shit.
Now, hold
You
on.
will.
Now, if you really understand the perspective that Russ is trying to give you, you would understand this all makes perfect sense. That's why when you hear this white girl, Georgiana, she got this hood sounding cadence and this fire flow, and everyone's wondering like, who is this white girl? Like, who is she? Like, what is she doing? And you got like 1900 Rugrats, and he got that he got that rasp in his voice, and he slangs his words like a Florida jit, and he dresses and wears grills like a gangster would. It's something different. It's something that people haven't seen before. I'm telling you. And then when you got huge people like Beyonce doing country albums, what's that one dude's name? Shabuzi? Hold on. Shabuzi with like the #1 song in the nation. I forgot which one it was, but it's Counterculture doing its thing. We're gonna get into this real quick. We're gonna hear what Russ has to say, and then I'm gonna give y'all what I have to say.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The culture of hip hop at its core and at its inception was intelligent movement. What's the antithesis of intelligent movement?
The crackhead.
Being reckless. Reckless.
Okay, we're like kind of close.
Yeah. Well, no. To your point, I want to.
Everything right now, like why the old heads are like hip hop is dying is because what is happening is counterculture to the culture of hip hop's inception.
Yeah. Okay. And
The shit happening in hip hop is actually counterculture. In the culture is hip hop.
To the counterculture. I'm curious about this. Okay.
No, I think Russ is really onto something, because you have to think the last time counterculture really blew up in a big way in hip hop was 2016. That's why everyone thinks it was so great. Everything changed. Music was different. You had all these different perspectives and all these different personalities. But you have to think, with that surge of counterculture came a lot of problems. Like, there were fights at the shows and riots outside the shows, which ended up canceling shows and tours for a lot of these artists. And it really put a bad taste in a lot of these venue owners' mouths, because they didn't want to deal with all those repercussions. But if you ask me, I feel like everyone in America, people in this country, are starting to become more desensitized. And I think a lot of more things in music will be more accepted than it was in 2016. And just like 2016, I believe we're heading into another music renaissance, except this time it will be a lot more accepted. I mean, you got people singing Sexy Red, twerking.
Sexy Red. A ninth grader introduced me to her, and I was like, whoa, that's too much for me. But she was introduced it by her parents.
You got people listening to Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us, calling Drake a PDF and dancing to it. It's just a different day and age. You know, you would never think that that would be like the #1 song, a song calling somebody else a PDF. But shit, I'm all for it. Expose these niggas. But yeah, man, in a day and age where you got campaign offices getting shot up, you got presidential candidates getting shot up, you got CEOs getting shot up, and everyone just goes about their day. You don't think people are getting a little desensitized? Nah, I didn't say any of this to get into any political discussions. This is all about the music. And America becoming desensitized more and more, this directly affects hip hop. I mean, it affects everything, including hip hop. Now, I'm about to make a bold prediction. This is about to be a hot take. I personally feel like in the future, we're going to see a lot less of the traditional street rap, trap rap, drill rap that we've been seeing for the past few years now. And we're going to see a lot more of 2016, but it's not going to be just the same thing. It's going to be even crazier. And right now, I'm going to show you some examples of how it's already happening. Now, there's a few people I've already been scouting out already.
He was bisexual, but I just turned the bitch right back to normal.
I don't really know what his pronouns are, but I think this is what Russ was talking about. Everybody's trying to figure out what's the next perspective. You've got these country rappers who are starting to gain traction on social media, which makes sense because if they're pushing country music, country rap only seems next in the progression of the cycle. But the progression of things isn't up to the label. The labels aren't the one progressing things. It's the people. It's the masses. It's also the artists who choose to show off these different personalities. Now, you have to think a lot of these people are actually authentic. There's actually some authentic white people who are born in a black family and are from the streets. There are actually some black people who are from the South who are country. But now the internet's finally seeing this and they're like, oh my God, we love contradictions. They love all these extreme personalities that are coming out, all these extreme perspectives, these are contradictions. And I know most of you guys won't get this because y'all niggas ain't thinking on a higher frequency. But if y'all really want to blow up, not if you want to put the art first, but if you want to blow up, be a fucking contradiction. Be a contradiction. Be one of these extreme perspectives that no one has seen before. This next artist I'm going to show you guys is very reminiscent of the 2016 vibes and is absolutely going crazy.
No, I got that guap, you know I got that cheddar.
I don't even know how to say her name, but this girl is going extremely viral on Instagram right now. And you gotta understand, like, just look at her. Just look at her. Look what she's doing. I don't know how to explain it to you, bro. You can't really explain a lot of this. She just looks like she's a chill girl. You can go bump the song. I don't think the song's super crazy, but at the same time, it's so different. It's very experimental and just different. But it's not the music that's propelling her. Like I said, just look at her.
What? I'm popping, yeah, can't you agree? Huh? What? Can't you agree?
So you remember how earlier we were talking about the progression of things? So for gay rappers or LGBTQ rappers, there was Lil Nas X, you had Academics as Ops, Southsea Santana. So it's like, what's next?
He like my body, he know I'm a tranny. Look at my OJ, you look like a granny.
Oh yeah, of course, transsexual rappers. It's all making sense to me now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's less about the music and more about the person. How different are you? How much engagement can you bring to these media outlets that you want to cover you? At the same time, you know, your music does have to be good or at least decent. It can't just be unlistenable. But in this day and age, man, when it comes to hip hop and blowing up, it's less about the music and more so how marketable you are. Now, I hope you guys learned something from this video. I've got a lot of videos that I'm about to start rolling out for this month. So I'm definitely going to be making a lot more hip hop-esque videos like this one in the future. Right now, I have like 8 or 9 videos that I'm going to release this month. I've got an EP dropping this month. It's not going to be the Small World mixtape, but I got a Christmas tape coming for you guys. I'm not going to go into too much detail right now, but just know I'll be shopping at O'Reilly's Auto Park. Ow!